Hey, what's up guys? Corrado Arangio here, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how to buy a new pre-construction condo. It's crazy because I've made a lot of real estate videos and I've actually never made a video that explains the important points in purchasing a new pre-construction condos. I'm actually going to send this video to a lot of my clients when they're in the process of buying a condo. But tip number one is go to your mortgage broker, go to your bank and see how much money you're approved for. You know, you can go to sales centers and talk to real estate brokers or agents and get more information about the project or projects that you're interested in so you can learn about it. But my first thing and my first advice that I always tell my clients is to actually go to the bank, speak to a mortgage broker or a mortgage agent and figure out how much money you're approved for. Normally new condo projects, you're gonna need to put down at least 20%, and they're extended deposit structures here in Toronto. Not sure about other places around the world, but let's talk about just Toronto in general. So you're gonna need about 20%, and normally it's like $5,000 on signing, balance of 5% in 30 days, 5% within 6 months, 5% within a year, then another 5% within a year and a half. But some builders actually offer like a super extended deposit structure, which is like maybe like $3,000 on signing, balance to 5% in 30 days, 3% in 90 days, 3% 180 days, 3% in 720 days, and some like 3% on occupancy. But it's got to add up to 20% because that's what the banks need in order to get financing to build the building. So this is my suggestion: before you go out and waste your time and wasting like the agent's time, just go and do your due diligence, figure out how much money you're approved for. All right guys, so now let's talk about the stages of selling. And this is what the builders normally follow in a lot of their releases and projects. And normally the first release is to their friends and family. And what they normally do is host like a private event where they invite only their friends and their family. So if you're not related to them or you're not a friend of the builder, then you're not gonna get access to it. So you're gonna have to wait for the second release, which is platinum access, and that's where I come in. So what you need to do if you want to get the best selection of units, the best incentives, is you need to find a platinum broker that is actually working on that project. See, now there's a lot of realtors that are trying to get platinum access that don't get first allocations from the builder. So you need to find the platinum brokers that have first access, because when you get first access to the project during the platinum stage, that's going to get you the best prices, the best incentives, and again, like I said before, the best selection of units. And that's what's going to help you make money, especially if you're an investor or if you're an end user and you want a specific view. Then you have to try your best to get first access to these projects. All right guys, so now I'm going to tell you how to find a platinum broker. What you can do is just go on Google and type in the name of the project, and normally these platinum brokers actually set up micro websites or landing pages for the particular project that you're interested in. So when you register, you're gonna basically get things like floor plans, the price list, the brochure, information on incentives, and all that kind of stuff, right? So basically what you do is, once you get all this information, the platinum broker will invite you to an event or maybe even call you and say, look, what unit do you want to reserve? Tell me whichever one it is. I need to fill out a worksheet, request that specific unit in the floor range, the price range, the model, whatever it is. Once they get it for you, then they'll call you and say, look, congratulations, you got your unit. Signing is like in the next couple days, and that's normally what they do. Sometimes builders will give you a little bit more time, but normally they want signing done like this. So that's why it's important that you get approved for a mortgage and you know how much money you're approved for, because this will make it a lot easier for you to make a fast decision. Because to find a good unit is tough because there's just so much demand. There's so many people that are interested in reserving a unit. So to get the best access and to get the best deal, you gotta know what you're approved for. After the platinum stage, then it goes to VIP agents. During this stage, the prices have already gone up. So they go up from the private event to the platinum stage to the VIP stage, and then it goes to the public. So during this stage, normally agents that are trying to work to get platinum access will have access to this project, so then you can work with one of those agents. But again, they may not have the same incentives as the platinum brokers. And also, if you've registered on the builder's website, you may not even have access at this stage. You're gonna have to wait for the fourth stage, which is when it's open to the general public. A lot of these amazing projects nowadays don't even make it to the general public. So you need to actually look out for the opportunity and the best deal, which is working with a platinum broker that can get you access to these amazing projects. All right, guys, so if you want to buy a new condo, I highly recommend to do your due diligence and buy from a reputable builder, because you want to make sure that your investment is safe. With Tarion and all these regulations, builders have a lot of rights. So you want to buy from a builder that you know has built buildings on time, uses amazing products and material to complete the project, and you know customer satisfaction is very important. So do your due diligence, ask people that have bought from that builder. That can save you a lot of headaches in the future. All right, guys, so let's talk about the deposit money that you give the builder. That money actually sits in the builder's lawyer's trust account. So when you're writing the checks, the builder will normally have a stamp that will say the lawyer's company name, LLP, and trust. So basically the builder will use that money to get construction financing. He'll leverage it. He doesn't have access to pulling that money out and spending it, but he's going to use that as leverage or to actually get financing to build the building that you're investing in. Here's something to think about when you're buying or investing into a new condo is parking. A lot of projects nowadays, there's a lot of units that are not eligible for parking, and you're put on a wait list to try and get a parking space, because some of the larger units will have access to purchasing a spot, and then some of those people will actually not move forward and purchase a parking space, because in projects like downtown Toronto, in the core, parking spaces can be as high as like $100,000 and even higher. So you need to actually consider this when you're buying a new condo. Like if you're an end user and you want to buy into a new condo, you have to know right away in downtown Toronto, if that's where you're looking, parking's going to be really expensive. So make sure that you know this before you go out and you start looking for projects, because it's hard to find parking in downtown Toronto. But now in areas like the GTA, maybe even Hamilton, sometimes the builders will actually package the parking in the actual price, and they'll actually package the locker. So it doesn't mean because it's packaged that you're automatically saving money. Sometimes it could be like a gimmick or like a sales tactic. So you're actually paying for it, but it's packaged into the price, which is nice because you know you have a parking space. In some areas you need to have a parking space because there's a distance between, like, to get to the subway station or transit or the GO train or the new LRT system that's going to be built. Depending what areas you're buying in, make sure that you have it if you're far away from transit. All right, guys, so let's talk about the occupancy stage. A lot of people call this the phantom mortgage. Well, a lot of people actually get confused and why the builders actually do this. Well, technically, even if you get your keys, you don't own the unit until the unit is registered under your name. And how this process works is that everybody moves in by floors. So they start from the lower floor and then they work their way up. So if you bought a unit on the lower floor, the occupancy stage is going to be longer. So technically what you're doing is you're paying rent to the builder until everybody's moved in, and that's when then after that all the units get registered underneath the name. So if you're an investor, you need to make sure that you got right to lease during occupancy, and that's just an amendment in your purchase of agreement that you can get, and a lot of platinum brokers can get you this incentive because you don't want to be paying rent during this time and not being able to rent out the unit. So you need to make sure, if you're an investor, that you're allowed to rent the unit during the stage so you're not losing money, because some builders will not allow you to rent out the unit during occupancy. And if you bought the unit to live as an end user, well, I'm sorry, but there's nothing you can do and there's no way around this. So here's an important incentive that you need when you're purchasing a new condo is capping your development charges and levies, because if you do not have a cap, you're not going to know what the development charges and levies are going to be, because this is how it works. The city is basically going to build things like sidewalks, lamp posts, schools. They're going to put money towards hospitals and all that kind of stuff, because there's going to be an increase of population in that area. So if you do not have a cap you don't know what the fees are gonna be because the fees tend to go up really high. So what builders normally do is they'll offer an incentive where they're capping the development charges and levies. So let me give you an example. Let's say you buy a unit in downtown Toronto and your development charges and levies are capped at $8,000. So let's say the development charges and levies on closing are like $20,000, then you're only responsible for 8, and then the builder's responsible for the 12. If you don't have a cap, don't invest in that building because you don't know what the amount is gonna be, and it could be in a very expensive closing cost. And I highly recommend to make sure that any new condo or new property that you purchase has these capped. And if the builders don't actually include this in the incentives, then you can get your lawyer to actually make a request to try and get this done for you. All right, guys, so this is the first thing that I always tell my clients whenever I meet them or they ask me what should I look for when I buy a new condo. And it's the 3 things. I already talked about 2 of them: right to lease sharing occupancy, capping your development charges and levies, and the third one is the assignment. This is very important, and it's designed because a lot of these new pre-construction projects are gonna take anywhere from 3 to 4 to even 6 years to be built. So during that time period, if for any emergency reason, knock on wood, that you need to sell the unit, or you can always assign it to somebody else. You can assign it to a family member, a friend, a person. You can even make money on it. So let's say, for example, it appreciates by $100,000 or $200,000. You can assign it to someone, they give you the money and all the deposit money that you put in, and you take the money and you run, you can invest it in another new pre-construction project. And that's what a lot of people have done in this business, and a lot of people have made money just because of having an assignment. One of the most important reasons of having it is because it does take a long time for a building to be built. And again, if you any emergency reasons, you can always get out. I've been specializing in new pre-construction for the past 6 years now, and I've made people a lot of money. I've been helping out a lot of investors and a lot of new purchasers and people that are getting into the market just because of my age. And when I got into the business, a lot of people didn't have $1 million to buy a house. So that's actually how I got into pre-construction, because a lot of people had a little bit of money. They knew they were making more money and they needed a little bit more time to build their credit, to get a mortgage. So a lot of people bought into pre-construction, and I love what I do. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free, ask me in the comment section below. And if you got just one thing out of this video, it'd be awesome if you could smash that like button and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you could do one more thing and turn on that notification bell, that'd be amazing. I love you guys, and adios. Hey guys, it's Corrado. If you want to watch more videos, just click over here. If you want to subscribe, which that would make me really happy, just click over here. Have you subscribed yet? I need an espresso.